Dear sister, there's a whole lot of women that stand at the top of that wedding aisle knowing they're about to make the biggest mistake of their life. And you know why they do it? Because they follow the potential of a man instead of focusing on the patterns of that man. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, jump in. I'm on my way to work. Let me holler at you. I have done a ton of weddings, maybe 1,000. And I'm going to tell you, somebody asked me yesterday. In fact, my lady asked me yesterday. We hung out for Mother's Day, great date. But she asked me yesterday, she was like, how many people have you seen that had a look that they really didn't want to do it at that, on their wedding day? And I said, you can always tell when a woman doesn't want to do it right at the top of the aisle. When I look down that aisle and I look at her, I can always tell the woman who doesn't want to do it. She said, how? I said, because it's a certain shock look that woman gets. And you can tell it's not fear. You can see doubt when she's almost looking through the crowd, through the man, through me, and almost through the wall of the building they're about to get married in. It's a look that yells, what am I doing? And then you have certain women who just joke and laugh their way through it, dance their way through it. And you can tell that it's not true joy, because you can tell she's trying to just conjure up like a happiness to get herself through it. And then you can tell the woman who's really prepared her mind, prepared her heart for it. You can see the difference once you've done it enough. She said, well, what about men? How can you tell about men? I said, well, most of the time, the truth is men don't have that look on that day. When men get to that point, they look up that aisle and they see a woman that they don't really want to get married to coming their way. They've already decided in their mind that they got to do it. And most of the time, they got to do it because they want to save the feelings of the woman, want to save the feelings of their mother, their sisters, her friends. And he's made up in his mind, hey, I'm stuck and I can figure this out. See, this is the mistake y'all make. Y'all look at us as men and y'all say, well, he has the potential for this and potential for that. Now listen, the potential conversation is not a conversation you want to throw out the window. It's a valid conversation to have, because potential, everybody has potential to become something more than they are right now. But the problem with potential is some of y'all create potential. There's one thing for somebody to have potential. It's another thing for y'all to create potential. And I think a lot of you, my sisters, you create potential. You look at a man and you see things for him that he can't see for himself and doesn't want to see for himself. You can't commit to a man who you see more for him than he sees for himself. A woman is to add to a man's life. You add to a man's vision. You don't give him a vision, right? So that's the difference. That's the difference when you meet certain men. They have a vision for their life. They know where they want to go. When a woman comes in his life, you can see more. You can see angles he can't see. You can see certain things and you can help him. No, babe, look at it this way. Look at that way. Oh, look over here a little bit. That's what a woman's role is in a man, and when she has a visionary man in her life, a man who's looking forward. But again, some of y'all mess up because you look at a man, you want to be with him, you find him attractive, you're like, all right, this is my guy, and then you get so caught up in loving him, you get so caught up in the sex that he gives you, and then you start saying, you know what? Even though he don't have this and this and this and that, I'm going to look at all the potential what he could become. Now let me tell you something. If a man doesn't already see what he can become, you're not going to help him see that. He has to see things for himself. Listen to me, ladies. A man has to see things for himself that you can add to, but stop trying to see for a man. A man that cannot see, he already has no direction. And if a man has no direction, sis, where can he take you? Nowhere. So stop falling in love with potential, right? Start looking at the patterns of a man's life, right? Start looking at a pattern. How does he respond to certain things, right? How does he respond to the toughest day? How does he respond in his happiest moments? How does he respond in his saddest moments? How does he respond in his most angry moments? You see, when you start looking, not looking for a man, because that's not, we'll do another podcast on that, why you shouldn't look for a man. But when you start seeing men come in your life that you think is somebody you can see in your life, you have to start looking at them in all 4 seasons of life. All 4 seasons of life. So it's just, and when I say seasons, I'm talking about even the seasons we're in. Where I live, all over the country, the summer is coming in. You see the green coming out. You see the sun shining. It's warmer in the morning. Things are going more, things are more comfortable when you wake up. That time of year. See, you can meet a certain person in a certain season. And most of the time, in the season that you meet somebody, everybody's going to be in that summer season, right? That summer or that spring season. It may not even mean they really are in their life. I'm talking about life now. It doesn't mean they are. When they meet you, right? Or when you meet them, there's a certain mix of summertime, springtime. We all have been there. But there's different sides to all of us. Now, when I say sides, let me say seasons, not sides. Because sides means you're putting up a front. But seasons, you're going to meet a man who has to go through, you have to see him rather, in certain seasons of his life. So you have to see him when he may not have the money that he wants. Because that's when you really see what comes out of a man. When a man doesn't have what he feels like he needs to provide for his family, for his woman, for himself, that's when you really see the whole picture of a man. Really. Because that's the most stressful thing for a man. Now, some men don't care about not having because they know who they can take it from. They know who they can swindle it from. But when it comes down to a real man, an actual man, he's always, you're going to see his fullest potential. You're going to see his full sense of anger. You're going to see his full sense of discouragement when he doesn't have what he needs to provide. Because that's every man's desire to provide. To provide. Listen to me. Every man's desire is to provide. Even if it's just for himself, is to provide. So that's when you really see all of a man. When he's struggling to provide, right? That doesn't mean he's a bad man. Every man has to go through that, even to see himself. Even to see himself. So this is what you really got to do, sis. You have to start finding, or I don't want to keep on using finding, but for lack of a better term, you have to start looking at a man who's already seen himself through those seasons. Not just stumbled through them, but knows who he is through those seasons, right? And a man has 2 things. He has his time, right? It's only 2 things a man has. It's the currency of a man. His time and his words. So how do you find out whether a man has seen himself through these seasons? You see it through his conversation. When a man starts talking about how he has grown or what he's learned about himself through seasons, you know that you're meeting a man. Again, let me repeat that. Men only have 2 currencies. Their time, and our words. So let me throw this in. If a man's not giving you his time and his words, that means he's not giving you anything. Even if he's sitting in your life, he's not giving you anything because he only has 2 things. So if a man's spending on you, that doesn't mean anything. If a man just sitting in your house, that doesn't mean anything. A man being around you is not spending time. Spending time is with those words. He's talking to you. He's learning you. He's asking you certain questions. He's digging into the why of your life. Not just your life, but the why of your life, right? But many of you have not gotten to this point that I'm talking about with a man, because I can see some of y'all now listening to this saying, damn, brother, I never thought about that. Yeah, number 1, you probably never had a man to tell you these things. Number 2, a lot of your desire to be loved or your desire to be chosen, that's a whole nother podcast too. Get in the chat. Let me know some topics y'all want to talk about, me to talk about. But let me know if you've ever been through what I'm talking about right now, where your desire to be loved, your desire to be chosen, right? Your desire to be married has made you grab full hold of a man's potential, and you've completely ignored the patterns of his life. The patterns of his life. How does he respond in situations? How does he respond in conflict, right? And not only in conflict with you. Listen, sis, not only in conflict with you, how does he act in conflict, say, at a restaurant when the food is not good? Or when he's overcharged for something, when he has to confront somebody somewhere else. Never believe that a man's going to confront something with someone else with harshness, but confront you with grace. The way a man confronts a thing is the way the man is going to confront you. But again, you see, these are the patterns of a man's life. You have to pay attention to how he confronts situations. This is another myth. This is a myth when it comes down to patterns. People say, or have taught women, watch how a man treats his mother. That's how he's going to treat you. That's the biggest lie that's ever been told. Let me take a water break on that, because y'all need to think about that. Y'all need to think about that. That's a lie, y'all. He treat his mama good, he gonna treat me good. No, that's not true. You're not his mama. You're not his mama. Because guess what? You're gonna do certain things wrong in his life that his mom can get away with because of the relationship. But as he's building a relationship with you, he's not gonna let you off the hook like he let his mama off the hook. So when it comes down to how he respects his mom, there's no guarantee at all that he's gonna honor you the same way. The real truth is, watch how he treats his father or men of authority in his life. Now you're saying, brother, why? Okay, let me tell you why. Because it's easy for a man to honor a woman, his mother. It's easy for him to do that unless he has deep issues with his mother. Even if he does, he'll still find a way to honor her. But as a man, when a man is just as much as a grown man to his father, and he still will bow his head and humble himself to the authority of his father, that means the man has humility. Watch how he speaks of men in authority. His pastor, his imam, his rabbi, his old head, his uncles, right? Watch how he acts around them. If he doesn't have any humility around men of honor, men of authority, he's an out of control man, and you're going to find that out after a while. See, these are the things that I teach my daughters. They're 18. These are the things I actually hooked my sister up with her husband, right? We went to college together. I saw these things in him and said, oh, this is a man right here. I wasn't looking for a man for my sister. I was looking for a man that was a real man that, hey, she could marry him, right? I don't know my sister's type. I never paid that much attention to her type. Forget types, find a man. Because a lot of y'all get caught up on your type and he ain't a man. And y'all been through that. Some of y'all who in your 40s like me, you've dated men who was your perfect type, but they wasn't even a real man. They didn't have the patterns of a man, right? They didn't have the patterns of a man. And you got caught up in that type. You better find a man. And I don't know whether my brother-in-law was my sister's type at all, but guess what? They've been married, I think, 23 years, right? 3 kids, happy, got to build a business together, both left their jobs. You understand? And so he was a man. Another thing is, find a man who's willing to apologize, right? Find a man who's willing to apologize. That's big. Because if a man can't see himself, you'll never make him see himself. If you put the mirror up in front of him, he'll break the mirror every time. And when I talk about the mirror, I'm talking about those conversations where you're trying to explain how he comes off to you. Because one thing that's true, ladies, and I want y'all to remember this too for yourself, is that you don't see yourself outside of yourself. You don't. So when you're with a man, like, listen to what he's saying, because you don't see yourself. None of us see ourselves outside of ourselves. We don't see how we come off. Because in our mind, hey, this is me. You're just flowing with the you. But you, people that love you, I'm not talking about somebody that's trying to break you down, but somebody that loves you, that's paying attention to how you come off, let them tell you, because it isn't always good, right? So when you're with a man, be the pattern of one big, huge, good pattern about a man that's a good man is his potential to say, you know what, I was wrong about that, right? I was wrong about that. I'm sorry. I apologize because I was wrong about that. That's a man who's put himself in front of a mirror, right? But instead, y'all just see a lot of y'all. I'm just going to say y'all. Don't be all offended, y'all. It ain't me. It ain't me. Listen, it's somebody you know. I'm just giving out brotherly wisdom. That man that's willing to look in the mirror, that means that he's willing to do it for himself. What you need is a man who's willing to check himself, to challenge himself, to reckon with himself. A man who has internal conflict with himself. If you have a man who's never, again, put himself through these seasons of conflict, put himself through these seasons of challenge, you don't have a man who's going to do it for you. You understand? And what will happen is you'll be the one trying to fix everything. You'll be the one taking blame for every problem in a relationship. You won't have a balanced conversation with an imbalanced man, sis. You can't have a balanced relationship with an imbalanced man because he doesn't have a balanced relationship with himself. That's the same thing for abusive men. You know, when a man abuses a woman, physically, mentally, whatever kind of abuse it is, because it's all abuse, you know what that is? That's a man who is abusive of himself. I'm telling you, especially a man who puts his hands on a woman, he can't hit himself. When you find a man that's abusive, that talks to you crazy, says anything to you, tries to tear himself down, that's how he feels about himself. You're just there now to take the brunt, so he doesn't have to take the brunt of horrifying himself with abuse. Any man that abuses you, he abuses himself. He's not strong. He's not aggressive, right? All the other names we give, what he is a man who is abusive to himself. What I'm showing you today is y'all look past all of this stuff when you love a man, okay? That's why there's a big difference between love and accountability. Love and compatibility, rather. Love and compatibility. Because you can love somebody you're not compatible with. You will love somebody you're compatible with, but you can love somebody and not be compatible with them. So you gotta learn the difference in what it means to love somebody and have compatibility. Because you've loved people with your whole heart, and it's like, but I love them so much. But are you compatible with them? Does life work together? Does the values work together? Do the things you believe in? Do you believe in the same things? I'm talking about with life and with growth and how we're going forward. Do you believe in the communication? Do you believe in allowing each other to be individuals and all the things that matter to you? That's what makes you compatible with somebody. Not love, because some of y'all love people right now, but you ain't with them. Or you can't figure out the relationship, or you tried over and over again. So, sis, stop falling in love with potential. Pay attention to patterns, because potential is no guarantee the person will ever reach their potential or the potential you think. Right? There's certain people that say, look, men say, look, I got potential. Okay, their potential may be on a level, and you're seeing them way past the potential they see for themselves. You hear what I'm saying? Again, I don't want y'all to get this mixed up. Do women help men flesh out their potential? Absolutely. Absolutely. But helping him flesh out potential is not giving him potential. Again, some of y'all give men potential. Y'all give it to him. He's able to do this, and he's so smart, and if he would just do this, then this would happen. You see, some of y'all right now like, damn, I said that before. Hit that like button, y'all. Hit that subscribe button. Some of y'all saying that. I've said that before. He is so. If he doesn't see it for himself, he'll always disappoint you. And then eventually, sis, what happens is you begin to disappoint yourself because you kept on speaking things about this man that he doesn't have eyes for. Oh, man. Stop speaking things over and over again for a man that he doesn't have eyes for that thing. Because then you'll say, he never became that. He never was going to become that, sis. He never was going to become that. So what's the real goal then? The real goal is to allow a man to show you who he is in all seasons, and stop trying to force a man in the fantasy that you have. Because let me tell you something, ladies, the fantasy you have of a man is not a real man. You can't make a real man up in your mind. You can only make the fantasy of a man up in your mind. So is it okay? Every little girl has a fantasy of the perfect man. That's no problem. But understand, the man that you're going to get with is imperfect. He's imperfect. And guess what, sis? So are you. So when it comes down to the potential of a man, or trying to be with a certain man, understand that he's not going to be perfect. He's not going to fit your fantasy. He's a man. He's a human being, and you're not gonna be perfect. A man doesn't have fantasies about how a woman is, right? A lot of men have fantasy of how she may look or how she may act, but how she is, men don't have fantasies about how she is. A lot of times we just hope that she is what she is, and that's a whole nother podcast. But anyway, y'all, look, thanks for listening. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. I got something for y'all on Thursday nights. I'm going to have a live broadcast. I'm going to start a live broadcast on Thursday nights, probably twice a month. Just advice with brother. Well, y'all can get on the live show, and y'all can get on the show and ask questions. Y'all can get on the show and get advice from brother, and I would love to share that with y'all. Listen, every Thursday night, I'll probably start this Thursday night. Y'all see the advertisement. But on Thursday night, I'm going to have a question and answer show with brother about dating, about marriage, about men, about you as women, and what advice I have to give. All right. So, hey, I love you. Make sure that you love you. I think you're awesome. Make sure that you think you're awesome. We'll end the show like we ended Dear Brother, because I think it matters for Dear Sister as well. Listen, sis, yesterday is history and tomorrow's a mystery. Sister, all you have is right now, today. What you gonna do with it? What you gonna do about it? Love yourself. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Invite your other sisters. Let's build a community that loves women and gives great advice. See y'all soon. Peace.